Hey everyone. Hi. I'm Andrew Byrne. I'm so happy to be here today with you all. And I am a teacher in New York City, and we're all kind of stuck in our homes. So I'm glad to be able to reach you this way. It's certainly been a crazy couple of weeks, but we're going to talk about some pretty cool stuff today that you can do at home that is great for your voice, but also is going to do some stuff for things like your immune system that we're all thinking about a lot right now. So the topic of this call today is the balance system. And so the balance system is the official name for it is the vestibular system, which I'll be saying in this call. And that is a part of your inner ear. So this is what it looks like. This is my little model of it there. It looks like that in my ear. And we'll go over what's where, but just to know that that's a thing that's behind your eyes. And it is basically telling you where you are. It's telling you which direction you're going and which way is up. It's how you relate to gravity, but it does a lot of other really important things. And it is a fascinating part of the body because it's very, very old. It starts when we are 21 days after conception, it begins to form. It's the first thing to become bone in your body, and it's totally set as bone by 5 months in utero. So before you're even born, you need to know which way is up. And so this is a very primal thing for us. So that means it's really cool for actors as well, because we're always trying to find that really visceral instinct in our acting work. And when you work with your balance, you get to something that's super duper old. And that is a pretty cool thing to be playing with. So let's go over why you would care about this part of the body. So the first thing that this system does is it tells you what to look at. So when you move your head around, you have to know where you're looking, and this helps you keep your vision steady as your head moves around. One of the biggest threats to visual clarity is your own movement. And so this system ties in with your eyes very, very closely, as we'll go over when we get to our exercises. It stabilizes your posture. So this keeps you in the right place. So if you've had times in your singing where someone's told you, don't do this with your head, you're putting your head forward, and they keep saying that to you and you don't know how to fix it, or especially if they tell you stuff like you're turning your head to your left or you're tilting your head, those are usually related to either your eyes or your ears. So doing these drills can help to fix that stuff, fix those habits in a way that posture correction might not help you. So the big thing that we're thinking about in this call is the immune system as well. So how it works is this. This is a certain nerve. It's called cranial nerve 8. And the full name of that is vestibulocochlear nerve. And so this is the vestibular system. And the cochlea you may have heard of, that's how you hear. It's like a little snail-shaped thing in your ears that has little hairs in it that vibrate and tell you what pitch you're on. And that's how language works, how we acquire language, but also how we sing and acquire music. So the same nerve that controls this, the balance, controls your hearing, including your musical hearing. So, and then that nerve, cranial nerve 8, fires into what's called cranial nerve 10, which is your vagus nerve. It's spelled V-A-G-U-S, not like Las Vegas, but like vagus in Latin. It means wanderer. And it goes all the way down into your organs, all the way to your pelvic floor. It's the longest cranial nerve. And that nerve is part of your immune system because it talks to your gut, and that's where we fight viruses. About 70% of our immunity is in our gut. And so the more you affect your vagus nerve, the more you might fight off infections better. And so I'll tell you experientially for me, the things that we're going to do in this call, if I feel that first symptom of something like a little scratch in my throat, I do these exercises that I'm about to show you. And 9 times out of 10, I fight it off without having to really get sick or cancel work or anything. So it can be pretty cool to learn these things. So I'm going to try to show you things that I do that work for me. A few other things that this system does, regulates your autonomic system. And that's basically your fight or flight or your stress. And so that's something we're all experiencing this week, a lot of autonomic stuff. And so we are going to be thinking about that this is a related thing. If I can balance better, I probably keep my stress in check a little better as well. And I might just calm myself down. So if you find yourself spinning out with the news cycle, like, oh my God, I can't deal with life right now, I want you to try getting up and doing these drills that I'm going to show you. A couple other things to say about it. It helps you, this sense helps you with spatial navigation. So that's stuff like blocking on stage. So knowing where you are, remembering your blocking is part of this. It also has been shown to be part of paying attention. So if you're having trouble with ADHD or stuff where you're not really locking into paying attention to something, these drills can help. It also is for memory. So this stuff has to do with what's called the hippocampus in the brain, which is our long-term memory, remembering your lyrics, remembering your lines in a play, all that stuff. So this does a lot of pretty cool things. And there's been studies that have shown that a lack of balance is correlated with stuff like panic attacks. And it can even be found with stuff like high blood pressure and diabetes. There can be a relationship with your balance. So it's pretty good to know where you are with this stuff. So we're going to test that. So the last thing I want to say before we get to the anatomy is just that there was a really cool study done in 2016. They took a bunch of college students who had anxiety and depression, and all they did was give them a swing. And they said, you can swing as much as you want. And after 150 days, the people who had used the swing more showed more resilience to anxiety and depressive feelings. And so when we can't get out and get it to a swing, you at least can do these drills because they're going to do a lot of the same stuff that a swing is going to do. So let's go over what's where in here. So this is how it works. So there are 3 canals. So there, it looks like this. This is on my left ear. So there's the horizontal canal, which you can see in blue there. I'll let the little crystals spill through for a second so you can see them there. And then there's this top one, which you can see is in green there. I'll let it spill through for a sec so you can see that. And that's called the anterior canal. And there's this red one back here called the posterior canal. So every time you turn your head in any direction, you are moving these little tubes. They're filled with like a jelly substance. It's called endolymph. And it's supposed to spin through here. And then there's a little thing, like a sail-like thing in here that flicks every time you turn. So it tells you where you are, basically. And so as your head turns, this stuff is supposed to flow through there. But if you don't move well in certain ways with your head, you might end up getting this fluid kind of stuck, and it's not going to really spin the way that it should. And then some bad stuff can happen with your posture. So, and then before we leave that, the other thing we're going to do at the end of the call are these 2 little things in here. So there's this top thing right here in gray that's called the utricle, and the bottom here is called the saccule. And those control horizontal and vertical motion, like on a train and on an elevator. And so these 5 parts, the 3 canals, utricle and saccule, that makes up your inner ear in terms of your balance system. So let's see here. So let me just explain before we get to the drills what you're looking for if in your own history, if you do see stuff like you watch yourself sing and you go, oh yeah, I'm like turned in a weird way when I sing, my head always turns that way. What I want you to think about with this is, let's imagine that I'm on a plane and I have a ruptured right eardrum, like my right eardrum ruptures. So if you're on the call, just turn your head one way and the other way like this. So as you're turning, when you turn to your left ear over here is firing. And when you turn to the right, your right ear is firing. So like the nerves wake up when you turn your head like that. So I turn to the left and this left ear fires. I turn to the right and this right ear fires. So now let's say again, I've been on this plane and I've had a ruptured right eardrum. Now the nerve's going to be down on that side kind of all the time. And so my brain's going to think that I'm constantly turning to the left because my left ear is working normally and my right ear is not working. And then because of that, my posture is going to get affected. So I'm going to probably do something like maybe I'm turning to the right then to try to compensate, to be like, I'm always going to the left, get back to center. But I don't really know where center is anymore because I have a problem in this ear. And so if you've ever had something like that, where you've had a bad ear infection, where you've had tubes in your ears, you've had a ruptured eardrum, anything like that, I want you to do these exercises thoughtfully and think about if you are really noticing anything in your balance. So we're about to do some drills now. So before we do them, I want you to look at your space a little bit and just make sure that there's nothing you're going to crash into, because we're going to close our eyes. And so I want to make sure that you are safe. So take a look around you, make sure you're not going to trip on anything in case you stumble out of these positions. The goal is going to be to hold them for 30 seconds. So we're going to see if we can hold on to the shape for 30 seconds. I'm going to grab my watch just so I can keep count for us. So let's go ahead and get up. And so you're going to get about like this with your feet so that they are together like this. So feet touching that way. And then arms are going to be at your side like this. So when you're ready, what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes and then just see how your balance is there. And I'm going to keep track for us. I can actually see my clock, so I'll just use that. So keep standing there with your eyes closed like this. You're trying to notice any swaying. Notice if you sway off to one side or to the other side. So most likely you would sway off to your weaker side. So if you find your first thing is to sway off to the left, probably your left inner ear isn't working like quite as well. And that's good. And we're going to stop and shake that out and bounce a little bit. So if that was wobbly, that's fine. But if you were really falling over in that, send me a message and I'll tell you what to do. Like if you're actually like falling, that's something that you want to be aware of. So send me a message and I'll talk to you about that. If you're a little wobbly, that's fine. Just try to keep notice of what was happening. I'm going to move my chair to make my shot prettier. And now we're going to do this. So we're going to try to make a balance beam on the floor. So you're going to try to look down at your feet and you're going to try to get your back toes touching your front heel in a really straight line like this, like you are on a balance beam. So if you're not sure, just look down and make sure you're not turned out. The most common thing is going to be you're going to go like that. You're going to try to turn slightly. So look down and make sure you're really nice and even. Arms again by your side. This may be hard enough for you. So if you feel like, whoa, I'm already super wobbly, that's good. If you feel like you can, try to close your eyes. And then just see what happens with your eyes closed. See if you can still hold on to your balance. Keep holding that for a few more seconds. So trying to notice what's happening right now. Are you wobbling in or wobbling out with your back leg? A little more of the weight in the back foot in this position. So whatever foot's back, trying to notice that. Nice, and let's shake that out for a sec. And you're gonna put your other foot back. And you're gonna go ahead and come like that. And so once again, you may want to keep your eyes open. If you feel like you're doing okay, you go ahead and close your eyes and you just see how you're doing. So keep on going. So your eyes are closed and we're trying to hold on to this position. Awesome, and relax. And the last thing we're going to do with just these tests is we're going to look down at our feet and make them parallel. So there's no turnout at all. We're going to start by, let's have you all pick up your right leg. So I'll pick up my left on the camera. So you're going to hold it out like this so it's not touching your other leg. And then when you're ready, again, you can either stand here or if you feel like you're doing okay, go ahead and close your eyes and see how your balance is. So we're trying to do 30 seconds of this if possible. So just keep going. Keep holding your balance. If you feel super wobbly, you can come out of it. If you fell, just get back up and try to do a little bit longer. Nice, and let's relax and look down at your feet again and get them re-parallel and go ahead and pick up your other leg. And then again, you can stay there or you can close your eyes. So you hold that for a second. I'm just going to come read the chat. Okay, some people feeling a lot wobbly. Some people are kicking ass, good, I like that. So you're just kind of knowing where you are. Sometimes it's surprising because often dancers will tell me, wow, I'm not as good at this as I thought. Because remember that we have our visual system. So when you close your eyes, you really have to use that inner ear we talked about. You can't use your vision anymore to keep yourself stable. So it kind of makes you humble a little bit or you might be like, I'm great at this, which is also awesome to know. So now that we did all that, those are the positions. So we did feet together like this. We did the balance beam shape. And if this is like too hard, but you want to do something that's kind of close, you can just widen it a little bit so your big toe touches the sort of inside edge of your front heel there. So it's like a split stance a little bit. Or you can do one leg. So you pick, if you were kicking butt and you're like, I got this, pick one leg on the floor and eyes closed. If you feel like that's going to be too hard for you, you can even stand like this, or you can just do feet together. Because now we're going to move our head while we do this. So I'm going to demo it with my feet together for you. You can do it like this, like that, like I said, or like that. So the motion is this. We start nodding our head this way. So you just nod your head up and down like this. And then you're going to shake your head no. And then this is the weird one. You got to go on a little bit of an angle. So you have to go like this, there to there. Yeah, I'm just going to move my camera up a little bit. Sorry, one sec. Need my tech crew here. That's a little better. Great. So up and down, side to side. And then these diagonals, which look like this. These are the weird ones to do. You have to imagine an X in front of your nose. And then go the other way. I'm going to be my set decorator and turn this light off. I can see it's a little hard to see. So those are the motions. We got no, yes, diagonals. So whatever you just did, pick a different position. So maybe try going, let me try to put one foot back like this. Let me see if I can do it. If you feel like you're falling, come out of it. Shake your head no. If you're doing great and you really got this, go ahead and try with your eyes closed. I guarantee that will make it harder. So there's a link to the free quarantine resources on this video. I'm going to put up there a little chart of this. The name of the chart is going to be VOR chart. That stands for vestibulo-ocular reflex, and that's what we're going to be looking at right now. So what you need to do this is you need something that has writing on it. So I'm going to grab a pencil. So just anything you got that has some text on it, like a little logo or something. And then again, let's start this, everybody start with your feet together just to make this not too hard. And go ahead and hold it at arm's length like this. So what you're going to do is look at a letter and then do the same nod like this. So now you're trying to notice if your eyes are getting blurry at all. If you see like a fuzziness or the letter skips around, if that's happening, slow down until you can hold on to it cleanly. The tempo that you want to go at is this, if you watch. That's the goal tempo, which is quarter note equals 120. If you have a metronome app on your phone, quarter note equals 120. So 2 turns, 2 shakes per second. That's what you should be able to do without it getting fuzzy. So that was the up and the down. And now we're going to go side to side like this. So shaking your head no. Again, ask yourself if that letter you're looking at is staying clear or getting fuzzy. If it's fuzzy, you need to slow down or make the motion smaller. If you're feeling nauseous or anything like that, just relax for a second. You can sit. This stuff can be surprisingly intense, especially if you have a history of motion sickness. So if you start to get feeling, just rest for a little bit and close your eyes and breathe slowly. Definitely sit down. If that feels okay and you're doing it right, then you need to do your diagonals like this. So these are the strange ones to learn. So I'm going to put up on the free quarantine resources later today, I'll put up a VOR chart for you, and then you can put that on your wall. It just has like some lines on it, and you basically just trace your nose along what you see there, so you can learn how to do these motions properly. But try to watch me and see if you can do what I'm doing there. I'm going to switch hands to do the other diagonal. Great, and then you can try different distances so you can look farther, closer. Sometimes one of those will be easier. If this is all going super easy for you, go ahead and try again like this and do the same stuff in that position. You're probably going to eventually find one that's a little hard for you, or you can do the one leg version. So the motions again are up, down, shake, diagonal lines like that. And then the point of all this stuff is to then use it in your singing. So to go, let's say I have trouble with runs or riffs. This sense, the vestibular sense, is a lot about rhythmic aspects of singing. So pick a run that you do or a riff, do these drills, and then sing it. See if it feels any easier after you do them. The other thing you can watch if you watch yourself on video is when you sing, are you doing this? Are you swaying around? Are you turning your feet out, which is trying to make your base of support wider? You should be able to stand like this and not have any sway when you are singing. So if you see that happening when you record yourself, do these drills before you do it, and then re-record yourself and see if there's less swaying around. I've only got a couple minutes left, but I'm going to talk real quick about what's called the utricle and the saccule. So let me see. That diagonals are intense. Yes, they are intense. So the utricle saccule are these little gray things right in there. Here's how you assess them. I'm going to sit one more time so I can show you this closely. So the utricle controls lateral motion, but side to side as well. So take your fingers like this on your cheeks, go about a ½ inch out, and you're going to make this movement, sliding your head side to side. And if you've got that, you can drop it and just see if you can do it. And you notice that I'm not moving here. It's just my head sliding side to side. If you're struggling with that, this is how you learn. You tilt your head to one side, you take the opposite ear up to the corner of the room like this. So you learn to do the motion like that. Other way, take that ear up to the corner. So that is a utricle drill. Here's the other way you can tell if your utricle is not working. You look at a letter again. So I'm just going to look at a letter on the screen. You tilt your head slowly over to the side like this, and then you just keep looking at the letter for about 10 or 15 seconds. If the letter starts to blur at all, the side you're tilted towards is the weak utricle side. And then you check your other side, you tilt over there, you look at a letter. And how you fix this is you use walking. So most of us are not really outside that much right now, but you can walk in your apartment. So you tilt over to the sides. Let's say my left side was weak. I tilt to the left. I look at a letter on the far wall and I walk towards it and away from it like this. And that trains the utricle to wake up. Utricle is really important for a lot of things about core stability in the body, like anchor in the center. So it's a good drill for that. And then I'm finally going to end with the saccule. So the saccule is vertical. So if you'd like to do squats as an exercise, here's how you train it. So I'm going to look at something on the wall. You need to look at like a letter or something. So I'm just going to use something on my far wall here. So you find something to look at. And here's how you do a saccule squat. You look at something while you do it. You go down real slow like this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pop up. And you look at it and notice if it blurs when you pop up. Pop. 3, 2, 1, pop. One more time. And then the other way, you go down fast and up slow. So you drop, up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop, up, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Drop. So that's how you train your saccule. So those are the 5 parts of our inner ear. Let me just see if there's any questions before I go. Cool stuff. Awesome. Wow, I have no balance. Great. So I'm easy to find online. So if you have questions about what I just did there, check it out. My quarantine resource has got a bunch of other stuff for y'all to do. Keep us all invested in our training. And it was a real joy to get to work with you all today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.